welcome back. It's still Business Morning here on Channels Television. So while we talked about reviving the textile sector industry in the country, the issue of infrastructural gap, of course, plays a major role, which we keep emphasizing. So let's look at some statistics about Nigeria's infrastructural gap. We do know that Nigeria's infrastructural stock is 30% of the GDP. That's below the 70% benchmark that's recommended by the World Bank for emerging economies, one of which Nigeria is. Nigeria requires an investment of $100 billion annually if we are to close this gap. And over 70% of road network in the country is a poor solution. Rail, on the other hand, contributes just less than 1% to the transport sector of Nigeria. And NESG, that's the Nigerian Economic Summit Group, is worried about this, and they say they're going to focus on this during their summit. We have their chief economist right here, Dr. Olusegun Omishakin, to tell us, perhaps they know how we're going to find this $100 billion. Dr. Omishakin, good morning, welcome to the program.
Good morning.
I think you have at least $100 billion in the venue of your summit.
I hope so. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah.
So how do we go about this? It's a common conversation in the country. It is glaring right there. Look at net rail, just 1%, and we know what that can do. An efficient rail system connecting different parts of the country and different types of, I know they try to do from the ports to the rail, you know, and all of that. We know what that can do to the economic activities of the country.
Yeah, thank you. I think this topic is very topical, let me put it that way. But, you know, we've been talking about this for years, and I think there's something we are primarily missing. There's a gap we are missing. It's not, first of all, about how do we get the money or the gap. It's also about the direction of the economy itself as a country. What's our philosophy about development? What's our belief? What was our orientation about development path? Infrastructural development will not just happen because we want to try and plan for it, or because we want the investors to just come. We need to have a philosophy that says this is how we want to drive the economy. For instance, hardly would you see any economy in the world that is not focusing on industrialization, then suddenly, by luck, they have infrastructural development. It doesn't happen. It's not what you plan. It's not what you put in the budget. It's not what you canvass for by trying to make sure that investors are coming. It is what you believe in. And that's why for years, for decades, we've been saying, oh, let the private investors come in so that they can develop this. For what purpose, right? So I think the most important thing is for us to look at the fundamentals. Do we have a national philosophy that says we want to be an industrialized nation in the next 5, 2, 3, or 10 years? And I'm not talking about national planning. I'm not talking about those documents that we always, you know, come up with. I'm saying attitude, you know. Is it pro-development? For instance, look at the educational system. Are we structuring that towards making sure that people are growing towards developing the system? Look at China. China will not just tell you they need money to develop anything. You will see in their body language as a nation, right? So until we declare, if I may say, a state of emergency on a national philosophy about growth or development, we'll just be canvassing
but we have some programs by the government that is supposed to give incentives to the private sector. We have the tax incentive, you know, where private sector companies can do roads and they get tax relief and things like that. Aren't those enough?
It's not by incentive. Incentives, we're not talking at the level of basic economic activities. You know, we have this reform, this will help the private sector. Yes, but we've been having these incentives year in, year, and nothing is really happening in terms of the direction of the economy. So what I'm saying is this. Look at the huge gap. So the question is, how do we get this money? And the question that will come after that is, why should a reasonable investor give us this money? We don't have the money from the side of the government. You know, that's our our financial budget, everything, balance sheet is so not, we can't talk about that. So, but the most important thing, I believe we need to start, we need to look into, which we are going to take a long time looking into during summit, is that as a nation, industrialization is not by luck. It doesn't just happen that, oh, suddenly we just find ourselves, or we wish in the next 10 years we are good. It's a belief system. It's not by how much you are bringing in. It's a belief system. Do we really want, as a nation, want to compare ourselves in the next 10 years with what you have with China, India? Is that where we are going?
So how do we build this belief system?
Yeah.
We say the National Orientation Agency now, they have, I'm a proud Nigerian, I live by the, the code and all of that. Are you talking of something like that? Or how do we instill this belief?
I mean, for instance, if you look at our labor market, we have more than 90% of our workers, labor force, in informal sector. That is a signal that we don't need, for now, we don't need those big documents. We need to look at what is happening there. Even for the orientation, how do we orientate people about the need for the role of STEM in development? How do we make outside they are educated? The basis of development starts with knowledge, understanding. And that is education. If we have this current structure, look at JAM pass rate, look at WAEC pass rate, those are fundamentals. If we have this, taken care of as a direction, national direction, not just what we put in that budget year in year, national direction, then the issue of whether we are going to be industrialized, inclusive growth, or infrastructure, all these things will just, work out. So I believe so fundamentally that as a nation, we need to declare a state of emergency on the issue of industrialization. We are going to be rolling out this data year in, year out. And if we don't really ask ourselves, what exactly are we chasing after? Where are we going as a country in the next 10 years?
So where should this start from?
From all of us, especially, few of us are, in a position to influence that. And that's why we are doing this. That's why we've been having summits year in year to influence the orientation, to let people know that we need to have a path that we're going after. We don't need to just sit down and be saying we want to be like these people. We need to ask ourselves basic question as a nation in our governance, which is very important. How do we proceed from where we are now to where we desire to be? We need to look at the informal sector. And this part of informality is not about formalizing them, as it were. Informality exists because of structural problems. Education, I've mentioned that. The quality of skill, I've mentioned that. Vocational studies, we don't have that again. Technical schools and the rest that will drive growth. In China, you don't have many people with PhDs. Unfortunately, we have so many PhDs there doing nothing. You have them in vocational, they understand. It's a culture for them that you've got to be productive, right? Those are the things, the orientation that we need. And we know the finance is there, but if you don't have this set as a foundation, nobody will come from anywhere to want to invest in what now? Look at the roads we are building. Have you, one of these days, check the road and see the culture of, maintenance? Poor. Because we are building roads, infrastructure, big infrastructure for people that we have neglected, that we've left them uneducated. They don't even see the value of the road. And so it's a matter of time, our culture in maintaining roads and big spending, we just erode the essence of that road building. So I believe so strongly that as a nation, we need to wake up and ask the fundamental question: what part are we? Where do we want to? What do we believe in this our vision? Do we believe the vision we are running with? And I think that's so fundamental. It's easier said than done, but it's what we must come up with as a nation.
Yeah, well, you sound like, really deep there, away from economics and all, but I guess all of this you delve into and dissect at your summit.
Yep.
That's coming on. Thank you so much, Chief Economist of Nigerian Economic Summit Group, Dr. Olusegun Omishakin, for your time.
Thank you.
All right, let's take another break. When we come back, commodity space. And you know, petrol and oil will be top on that conversation. Please stay with us here on Business Morning.